The Strathbogies, what a beautiful, wondrous place. But she can be a cruel mistress. We've already experienced what we thought was the worst of it. But we weren't even close. We made the decision to start a new track. And we would normally be ending the day. But with James getting stuck at the first obstacle, will we live to regret it? Find out with Life Off-Road.
James was stuck. There was no real way he was going to be able to drive it backwards or forwards, so Ultimate 9 to the rescue. We brought Doug up, hooked the winch on, and were able to get him back.
I thought that, okay, I got stuck, I had to get winched out, we'll go back now, because we were right at the start of the track. And he said, okay, let's continue on. It's like, oh, okay, well, let's do it.
So now that he's learned his lesson, the next attempt was much easier. Better position for straddling that rut, made it up, not a problem. Got around to the next section, which became a rocky section. He took the hard line, just maneuver its way through really, really nicely and smoothly. Every time I've done a trip with Simon, I seem to get stuck in ruts. So I've made myself a promise this time, I wasn't going to drive in any ruts. Simon positioned the convoy so the patrols were at the front, and we wanted to really show them what we could do.
Lucky I got those SCF sliders.
Once Tim has successfully completed straddling this rut, boys will be boys, we all wanted to give it a crack.
I've been suckered into having a crack at this as well. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, that's nice.
A couple little spots where the Iveco, just maybe the wheelbase is slightly different and it had a little bit of trouble. But he was able to drive it and got up behind where the patrols were parked.
And then it was up to Michael and I in our IFS vehicles to give it a crack.
And I thought, okay, I didn't think that was part of the plan. But whatever, let's give it a try.
Well, so far so good. That was the real gully.
Alrighty, let's do it. You really had to get up and straddle this rut and not try and slip into it. Turned out to be not so difficult because we'd already done it a few times and already had seen the line.
We get to the top and Simon says, now I've got some really hard stuff for you. And we're thinking like, mate, what is happening? The sun is setting. What if we break something? What if we get stuck out here? If it is 5 o'clock at night and you're trying to get to your campsite, you want to avoid the difficult spots. Just general message to whoever might be listening. Really good idea to use the app to avoid those difficult tracks. We've got a lot of stuff in development, including our network connectivity map layer. This will plot where along your previous journey, where you've had reception, in case you might need to make a phone call if you have an emergency. If you're lost, you can share your location from the NewTracks app. You can call and text. It's just a crucial piece of kit to help you on your forward driving adventures.
We decided that we'd go for a little walk and see if the track got a little bit easier or kind of went where we thought it was going to go. And then?
No, and then. I don't mind this line.
But this way is the path to something breaking. This way is probably not the path to something breaking.
Let's get some vehicles up. Go. James?
Because I'm first in line, I give it the first crack.
James decided to take what he thought was going to be an easier line. And he was wrong. We had to pack rocks into the track. We moved some big rocks.
Go.
To his credit, he drove it and he was at the top of the track. It was our turn next.
Pro tip, if someone is trying to drive up a really steep rocky section with loose rock, do not stand behind the car. I saw my life flashed before my eyes. They almost died.
Bouncing the revs, hitting those sliders, just all over, good times.
Whose idea was it to bring a 5-ton truck up this track?
Watching the Iveco, like that thing just doesn't belong on these tracks.
Final climb to the final climb. Famous last words. We could be here all night.
Simon decided that he wanted to go up the rock face, the left-hand side, which is arguably the harder line.
So much for the Iveco just crawling up. Whilst I was defeated by the rocks and looking for other options, the IFS cars were pushing on behind us, making progress, but facing their own challenges, like this deep off-camber rut that kept pushing the cars into the trees and necessitating a touch of experienced teamwork.
Michael and I were working as a bit of an IFS team at the back of the convoy.
Credit to them, they got a lot further up that track than I would have assumed they were capable of doing.
So now we're about 2.5 hours into a pretty quick little challenge hill. Things weren't going well, I would say.
They did say it's going to be a hard trip, and it's living up to that.
Five o'clock hill has become 6 o'clock hill, and now it's become 7 o'clock hill. Rear locker keeps coming off on this thing. It's a D-Max thing. As soon as you go 30k wheel speed, it turns off.
To my surprise, the 2 IFS vehicles, every time we turned around, they were there.
This is hard work. Good fun though.
Simon decided to go over to the roots and give that a crack. Unfortunately, same deal. There was just too much clearance issues.
Let's winch it.
We're about to witness a show, the winch show.
Clear winching! Fortunately, the Iveco is armed with a 20,000-pound carbon tank winch up front for situations where clearance is an issue.
That rear tyre that sits underneath the Iveco is just hanging him up on the different routes.
With the Iveco out of the way, it was time for the IFS lads to tackle the next stage.
Stop, 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 stop. Big rock there in front of you. Hold there. So you should be able to get up the step.
So I'm trying to come back on that sort of rock to start with, and back over here, and then try and get a bit further over, and then up here.
I thought I'd take the right hand line and try and get to a position where I could help him out with a quick winch.
All right, we're a bit stuck.
Locker keeps popping out. We're going to wiggle this one. We're going to left hand down or right hand down. Okay, that's me. Feel like it's in the right spot to winch from.
Yeah, bring it up, bring it up!
So you want to winch off the back of me?
The strategy at the time was to save time. We can then winch the Piranha car off of the D-Max.
So if the Iveco has to winch on 37s and toggle diff locks and all the rest of it, and we have to winch, then I'm not too upset with that. Had to winch the back, and that's dragging the chassis and dragging the tail shaft, and
We ended up being able to get through. No one broke anything, which is fantastic. It's getting dark. It's gotten dark. It's finished getting dark and it's now dark. Lights are on. We're still nowhere near the campsite.
One of the things that is super important, especially in that rocky sort of terrain, was being able to see where you're going.
You found the road, James?
We found it, boys. We found our way through. We got ourselves into that mess, so I don't know how much we just blame ourselves for it, but we did it. We did it.
So we've got our Ultimate 9 work lights in the bar. They're positioned to give us sort of really good spread right in front of the vehicle so we can find our wheel placement. That's probably the most critical reason for fitting those, especially in those really tight sections. All I kept thinking about was that was meant to be the easy day. So I had no idea what would be in store for the next couple of days.
What's going to happen tomorrow? I'm kind of excited and nervous, but either way, it's going to be Ripper Day. I know that.
So somebody forgot to bring any food this weekend. Luckily, I prepared enough. James, breakfast is ready.
So day 2 arrives. We've slept off that previous trauma of day 1. I feel like a very lucky boy because Simon wakes me up in my swag with a breakfast burrito.
He's coming over. Prepare to receive his sausage.
As if he was kind of handing it down like, you know, like God touching Adam, you know, and I was kind of reaching up.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go, buddy. Breakfast in bed.
Amazing. Is it buttered?
You fix your hair. Have a look at that guy.
Really, it was fantastic. It's just what I needed at that moment in time.
We're very good.
An amazing track rock crawling yesterday, Tim, and this morning we're heading for more rock crawling.
Yeah, I love rocks. The sliders really love rocks. They have held up really well over this last couple of days.
Tim loves rocks. Love rocks.
James, you came away on a trip for a weekend without any food.
I'm on this special diet. Not eating food at all is actually really effective.
And yet you got breakfast in bed.
I did actually, thank you. That was so nice.
We decided to head off up a rocky track that we'd already been up, but Simon thought he'd seen a little tight track off to the right that we thought might head up to the top of Mount Separation.
Take it nice and easy through here, guys. It's going to be very tight. I'm barely slipping this Iveco through.
Yeah, that Iveco is a pretty tall truck to be doing these things between trees like we are.
Nothing too challenging except a little bit of a drop off, which just needed some good wheel placement.
On our way up, we decided that we're going to take the left-hand hard line just to make our day a little bit more interesting.
First step up is a fairly big one that we should crawl up it pretty easily, I reckon. Bit trickier than expected.
Simon approached the first obstacle and didn't quite make it, so we backed down for a second attempt, this time with a little bit more jandle.
That's more like it. Stage 2, little rock on the left and a step on the right. That's the way. Oh yeah! Oh, that's one way to do it, and here's the reward. What a view! Have a look at that. Let's go and see how the others do.
Michael woke up that day and he chose violence.
So we're going to give this a shot and see if we can do a similar line.
Because there was no mercy on that Ranger heading up those rocks.
Alrighty. Bed beached.
In the second section, Michael had picked a line where he'd just gotten caught up, so we all had to jump on the front of the car and rock it to push him off it.
Alright, here we go.
Just gentle, gentle.
No, that didn't work.
Anyone seen any rocks?
Eventually, after choosing a different line, Michael got up no dramas.
So this car's got quite a lot of product that we deal with. Rhino rack, NCC bull bars, and safari snorkels. Piranha has traditionally been involved in dual battery systems, and that's still a big part of our business, but we've now into these trays and canopies we do. So we've got some product that have made it more suitable for my using, which normally is touring. It goes to show what you can do with a bit of care and a bit of thought.
After watching Simon and Michael have a crack, it was now my turn.
I think Will would have been a really good student in school, because I reckon he watched exactly what Michael did and did the opposite.
With enough momentum and the correct line, I was able to make it up this track without a problem.
Challenge number 1 for the day. Everyone has driven it really well. So a little bit of pressure. And we're done. That's how we do.
Good drive.
Once the locker's in, getting game.
Yeah, awesome.
We got to the top. It was a really good effort by everyone involved with not too many dramas. And Simon thought he would reward us with some mini cupcakes.
Don't talk about it, grab it.
Oh, all right.
Don't be afraid, guys. Come on in.
They were store-bought, but they were still really good. I like four-wheel driving, but the highlight for me on this trip was definitely the cupcakes.
Yummy.
They weren't just good, they were really, really, really good cupcakes.
Got a real smack about it.
And of course, what's a cupcake without milk?
Yeah, that's the stuff.
Great at the top here, just a beautiful spot. Once we've just had a bit of a recovery from that, the next challenge is down this granite lump. It is seriously steep. That is a steep piece of rock. From the top here, when you're looking down, you think, how can I drive that?
To say I was a little bit nervous is an understatement. If anything went wrong, there was nothing to stop you from rolling. We would have ended up at the bottom of this hill.
This is just nuts at the minute. Simon's getting us to drive off the end of the world here.
As you were traversing the bottom side of the rock, you start to grip the wheel a little bit tighter, clench your feet just a little bit more.
It's a nice view for the last thing you ever see.
Once we got to the bottom of the rock, Simon proceeded to turn around and point back up the hill to an even gnarlier piece of track.
Hopefully the tyres are warmed up enough. Holy hell, guys. Here we go.
Simon just put it into low first and crawled it, and because the traction is there in this rock and the tyres are let down and there's rocks that are heat in it, it just gripped, no wheel spin, and away it went.
I'll tell you what, guys, it is an amazing feeling getting back up the top. This is awesome, guys. Rock crawling in Victoria, we're killing it. Go, James, show us what you got.
A stone wall. It is vertical. Something that I wouldn't have driven if he didn't say it could be driven. If you get into a position where you're going to roll, you're not going to stop until you hit the ground. Like minutes later, you're just going to keep rolling for quite a while. A prospect that I did not want to entertain, and so I didn't, and that actually worked a treat.
Woo! You beauty!
Whilst everyone else was deciding if they should engage their diff locks, Will from Road Safe just couldn't stop talking about his adjustable upper control arms.
Having adjustable upper control arms allow you to tailor your driving preference while improving tyre wear and increasing safety. The 6802 aluminium main body is designed with strength and reliability in mind. It also is designed to increase clearance to tyres and important suspension components. The heavy-duty high articulation ball joint is fully rebuildable, greasable, featuring a heavy-duty grease boot. It is unsurpassed for its reliability and strength. So if you have a lifted vehicle that requires Blackhawk upper control arm, visit blackhawk.com or visit your local suspension specialist.
Woo! Gary!
Once you start to come up, the front feels really light. Just keep powering through it because you don't want to stop. You've got to commit to it and just keep driving and keep the foot on the accelerator. Just back it off if you need to a little bit. Much simpler than it looked. One of those challenges that looks very daunting, but once the first car's done it, had no problems at all.
I'm not going to say I'm an amazing four-wheel driver, but I've had a bit of experience, and most of the stuff that we had done, it was going to maybe damage the car, but it certainly wasn't any risk to life. It was pretty sort of safe four-wheel driving. Couldn't really see where we were going, but maximum traction on those tyres. I started getting more confidence. It was a really great end to the trip with little carnage, everyone driving really well and having a good time.
With that last obstacle done, we parked up, took in the view one more time and set off on our way home.
It's not often you get a good group of guys out four-wheel driving. It was one of the better trips I've done, and I can't wait to get on to the next one. I'm really looking forward to it.
Now we've got to come down off this rock. Thanks very much, Simon and the crew. Done an awesome job and had an awesome, fun trip.
It's great to go wheeling and hang out with mates, challenge yourself, challenge a vehicle. Definitely coming back. It's been a fantastic couple of days out at the Strathbogies.
How good is it getting out and testing all the products that you spent so long engineering and designing? Strathbogie is such a beautiful place. Can't wait to get back out here.